hello from the past or hello from the present? I don't know.
Or the future.
Or the future. I could be saying hello from the future. Colt sold to CZG. CZG, is that like is that a rapper?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a rappist? CZG? That could be a rappist. That I probably just gave birth to a rappist name. Somebody out there with a stupid name like Little Pony the Third is going to be like, my rap name is stupid. I'm going to call myself CZG.
Have you guys seen that dude who paid $24 million to have a crystal embedded in his forehead like Vision?
No.
24 million?
Allegedly, it was $24 million to get a ruby or a diamond embedded in his forehead.
Dude, I'd have done that crap for $10. I'll take a K-bar and slice your head open and shove a cubic zirconia in there.
Yeah.
I'll go to the thrift shop and get one of those great big brooches, those great big ruby brooches from the thrift shop that grandmas used to wear.
Yep.
That's funny.
Oh man, does it give him special powers, or is his power looking like a douche?
That's the special power.
His superpower is looking like a douche. Okay.
No, I'll give him this. His superpower is somehow acquiring $24 million worth of expendable income.
You sure it wasn't like Bolivar or yen or something like that?
Everything I saw said dollars.
Guilders.
Everything I saw said dollars.
Sure it wasn't Dutch guilders?
No idea.
Okay. Oh, man. You're like, what does this have to do with Colt? Start talking about guns. That's the guy who just showed up today, and he's like, why aren't they talking about guns? Give it a second, Sparky. Take a deep breath, man. You weren't doing anything else. All right. So today we're going to talk about, we got a Brownell's bullet points for you. Magazine Mania. Now, is that like WrestleMania? Listen up, brother. We're talking about Magazine Mania. We've got during our homeroom, we're going to talk about being dangerous on demand. And between Zach and I and Jared, we couldn't figure out which one of these stories is the better lessons learned story. So we're going to talk about both of them. And then we're going to talk about CZ Arms or CZ USA or Seska Zbrojska Group buying Colt.
Mm-hmm.
The Colt? You mean the old Colt? Pew, pew, Sam Colt?
Colt 45 and 2 zigzags?
Yeah. So there you go. All that and more on today's super cool, lucky #1 episode of Student of the Gun Radio.
Stand by for education, enlightenment, enjoyment, and entertainment.
He's not here to talk about your feelings. He's not here to say what you want to hear. He's here to say what needs to be said.
Ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, please welcome your host, the pimp hand of America, Professor Paul Markle.
Oh, hippies. Do you boys realize that we're actually 10 years? It's kind of weird when if you think about anniversaries, you're like, what's your anniversary date? Is the anniversary of Student of the Gun the day that I sat down with the yellow legal tablet and wrote out Student of the Gun and scripted it and said, this is going to be the show?
Yeah.
Or is it the day that we went out and filmed the sizzle reel and produced that? Or is it when I went to SHOT Show in January of 2011 and had a meeting with the Pursuit Channel guys, with the execs at the Pursuit Channel, and sold them the show? Is that the anniversary? Or is it
the anniversary in my head would be the very first airing in the public of something Student of the Gun?
Okay. Well, the very first airing, we produced the show, we filmed it, produced it, sent it up to the network, and it aired the first week of July 2011. That's when the very first broadcast of Student of the Gun.
So it took
aired to the public.
It took like 6 months from idea to launch. Yeah. That's pretty good.
7 months. So from the time, because it was December of 2010 that I sat down and I wrote those words on the yellow legal tablet. And that's when I started scripting out episodes. I started scripting out segments. I came up with the whole "I am a student of the gun" thing. All of that stuff on a yellow legal tablet, which
Do
I
you still
probably
have that?
I don't know. Maybe
Oh,
it
that would be
might.
cool.
It might be in one of these
Oh man, that would be so awesome.
bagoats. I saved a bunch of the original scripts.
Yeah, that's so cool. We have actually like fan mail and stuff. I've been saving that as well, so that when we're gonna have a Student of the Gun museum one day.
So yeah, 10 years at least now that we've been doing this. People are like, "How's that Student of the Gun thing working out for you?" Like, well, it's been 10 years, and I still have a house to live in and a car to drive and food to eat. So I must be doing okay. Remember the sour grapes person that I used to contract with? Well,
Maybe.
I don't know if you know this story. This is one of you know what is the greatest revenge on douchebags?
To prove them wrong.
Success.
Yeah.
Success. I don't know who said it. It was probably Henry Ford or somebody. I don't know. Long time ago, they said the greatest form of revenge is success is the greatest revenge. And because if you guys know that I used to contract, right? And I left the contract and I started doing Student of the Gun, and I was still obviously friends with a bunch of people that I worked with. And one of the guys that I was friends with, that I worked with, went back to my former contract, and they're like, "Hey, man, Paul Marco, you remember Paul Marco? Yeah, the guy who refused to be a bus driver. Yeah, that's the one."
Yeah, that's actually, yeah, wow.
They're like, he's doing a television show, and the guy said, and this is where I got back from my friend. He's like, "Oh, that'll last 6 months, or 10 years." And that's such a sour grapes thing to do. And if that guy's out there,
that's the quintessential pull people down instead of raise myself up.
Yeah, I'm a C student, and I don't want anybody else to be an A student because it takes too much effort. So anybody who's trying to be an A student, I'm going to pull them down. And if that person's listening right now, you can consume a satchel of Richards.
Real quick, the answer is apparent. It would appear that the quote, "the best revenge is massive success," was Frank Sinatra.
Oh, old Blue Eye.
Which makes sense.
All right. Yeah. They probably told him he couldn't do it. Yeah, he couldn't do it. So if anybody ever tells you you can't do something, the best way to prove them wrong is to just do that, and then to tell them to consume a satchel of Richards. So Gina,
wait, hold on a second. I need to say something on this, because if you're in our audience, you've probably got some kind of go-getter or entrepreneurial blood in your body, and you're going to encounter people that say, "Oh, that's a good idea, but that's a good idea, but blah 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 blah." So you need to have confidence in your own decision-making skills, because most people that I know that did anything successful, they went through a period of time in the beginning where people like, "Yeah, that seems like a good idea, but it's dumb because
it'll never work.
It's out of the box."
Yeah, that'll never work. You know what you're talking about. And I'm not talking about I'm talking about like actually engaging in practical reality. Like if tomorrow I were to say, "You know what? I'm gonna be an astronaut. I'm gonna run down to Florida and I'm gonna be an astronaut." That's probably not gonna happen. Of course, unless I had $10 million and I said, "Hey, Elon, can I go up in your thing?" And he's like, "Did the check cash?" Then yes.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between saying I decided I'm going to be a unicorn today and I'm going to start a new business. So, all
right, Gina.
Let's
talk about Gina.
Gina. Is it Gina?
No, I don't know. I've never met her before.
Actually,
I assume it's Gina.
In the, you know who I really thought was hot? Gina. When they're walking. If you guys haven't seen 40-Year-Old Virgin, you don't get that.
Yep.
So either you get it or you don't. No, but Gina Carano is the former MMA superstar who is the badass former whatever Rebel Alliance, what Republic trooper in The Mandalorian. And if you've never seen The Mandalorian, this is when you're like, I don't care. All right, whatever. Mandalorian, when I first heard it announced, I was extremely skeptical. And I actually did. It was already live and out there for a while. And I kept myself away from it. I was like, I don't know what this Baby Yoda thing is all about. I'm not, because I didn't want the same people who screwed up 789, movie 789. I was afraid they were going to take the Boba Fett Mandalorian lore story and ruin it like they ruined Star Wars. But somebody told me, I can't remember who it was. Someone told me, no, dude, you got to watch this. You're going to like it. So I watched one. I was like, okay. One was good. I liked it. I watched two. I was like, oh, this is going to be good. Watched the whole first season. Like, holy crap. I can't believe they did it right. I can't believe that they pushed the imbeciles out of the way and did it right. They redeemed it. And we talked about this before. Season 2, I was like, please don't screw up season 2. Please don't screw it up. Please don't screw it up. Watch all season 2. Holy crap. They did it. They redeemed it. They redeemed Star Wars. They took something that was broken. They fixed it. I should have known better. The cowards and the puke bags at Lucasfilm and Disney just publicly fired Gina Carano. Why? Because she was drinking on the set, because she was a bad actress, because she didn't show up on time, she was too hard to work with. No, none of that. Because she tweeted. They fired someone from a massive hit television show. Okay, Jared, is it safe to say that 75% of the people in America who have Disney Plus have it because of The Mandalorian?
Yeah, if that didn't exist, well, I have a kid, so that's actually not true. But if it didn't exist, I probably wouldn't have it. Yeah,
that's the only reason that I ever watched it. I had no interest in Disney Plus until The Mandalorian. I was like, if that's the only place I can watch it, okay. So the biggest, literally, not figuratively, not hypothetically, the biggest show, a star of the biggest show on the network, they're so cowardly and spineless that they decided to cave to the SJW #MeToo crowd of malcontents and bullies.
The SJW, that crowd of SJW #MeToo was developed by Hollywood.
By the left. Yeah. That didn't exist 5 years ago.
That's why it grew so big as it did.
So I'm not going to do the whole show on this because we don't have time. Tomorrow, on Thursday, during the grad program bonus hour, number 1, we're going to talk about what she actually said in detail and whether or not it was wrong or offensive or abhorrent.
Yeah, I think we should debate it on live public television.
And we'll do that tomorrow. All right. So it's time for a Brownells Bullet Points. Brought to you by brownells.com. Magazine Mania. Yeah, brother. It's time for Magazine Mania. What are you talking about, Paul? Okay, just 1 week ago, I had my boy Blue. I had my boy Roy, the man with the plan at the Brownells. And we talked about magazines. We talked about availability of magazines. And then on Monday, before that, I talked to John at Magpul. And John said that their policy at Magpul, going all the way back to the Obama craziness and before that and up till now, is, look, we set our price point based upon our margins and so on and so forth. He said, we don't set our prices based on what's going on in Washington, D.C. or whatever. He said, so if you go to a retailer and they say, hey, if you want a black P mag, they're $99. Don't write letters to Magpul and say, how dare you? How dare you rape the consumer like that? He said, everyone is buying, whether it's Brownells or Brownell's competitors, they're all buying our products at the same price. And he said, and we have manufacturers suggested retail prices. I mean, like, he didn't say those words, but when we talked, basically they have an MSRP, they sell it for a rate.
I have an idea.
What?
If they want to listen to that episode and get exactly the words that he said from the manufacturer's mouth, then what episode number was that? Do you remember?
It was last Monday. So like 1027.
1027. SOTG 1027. You can get that at studentofthegun.com.
So my point is this. Number one, they are on a serious production schedule, and they have been. They're making mags as quickly as they can make them and still maintain quality control. And they're sending them to Brownells, and they're sending them to Brownells competitors and so forth. Now, if there's an online retailer out there that is selling P mags, whether it's selling Glock mags or M16 mags or AK mags, if they're selling them for $50, $60, $99, that's them gouging you. They didn't pay $75 for that magazine from Magpul, okay? And the other thing I talked about not only with John, but with Roy last Wednesday. While I had Roy on the phone, I went to the Brownells website and started looking at mags. And I said, well, everything is pretty much in stock except for AK mags. For some reason, Gen 3 AKs were out of stock, right? And I even teased Roy about it. It was his fault. And he's like, yeah, it was months ago that I bought them, man. I didn't run them out. I just went today. Guess what's out of stock? 40-round P mags out of stock. AK
for AR-15.
Yeah, 40-round. That's the only 40-round mag they make is the one for the.
Oh,
AK.
duh, yeah, you said
the AR. 40-round AR mags, out of stock. The drums out of stock. The AKs mags out of stock. Now, if you got an AK-47. The 545x39. If you got an AK, 74, strike that, reverse it. If you got an AK-74 in 5.45x39 millimeter, they actually have those in stock. If you didn't know that Magpul makes magazines, because you're like, I want a plum mag for mine, and I can't find any. I want to pay $99 for a Bakelite magazine. Stop it. Stop hunting for unicorns. I know it makes you seem cool at parties, but when I go to gun guy parties, I'm the coolest dude in the room because I have 4 Bakelite magazines. Oh, and by the way, Tom, Justin busted you out. So
Ooh.
I'm just gonna say
I didn't bust him out because oh man,
because I know you were there, Jared. I know.
Oh yeah, I was there when you said that. I was like, this is gonna be funny.
So,
by the way, public announcement now. I can congratulate them. I can congratulate them.
Congratulations to the Hollybees on their pending arrival.
Yep.
They have a pending arrival.
They have another Bakelite coming.
They have another. All right. Right now, listen up, freaks. If you got an AK-74, $14.99 for Magpul Gen 2 MOE magazines. I have some of these for my guns. I have some of the original Circle 10 mags and Plum mags and so forth that you could get easily 10 years ago that you can't get now. Instead of beating your head against the wall, I can't find the Circle 10 magazines for my AK-74. I can't find the Plum magazines. I can't find them. I found this one place and they'll sell me one for $70. Stop. Take that $70 and go buy 4 or 5 of the Magpul ones. Magazines are supposed to be disposable. You guys understand that, right? A magazine is not supposed to it wasn't built to last forever. That's actually why manufacturers said, you know what? If we build in this component and it fails, we can the end user can throw it away, replace it with a new one, and drive on. What? Yeah, exactly.
Well, see, now you sound like Jeff Kirkham.
No, I know how to sharpen a knife. Thank you very much. So,
But is it worth the time? I mean, if you could just buy a new one, is it worth the time?
He's never going to live that down.
I know.
All right. Now, you know what I find ironic, Jared? You know that company that if Congress was going to pass a useful law, if they ever actually wanted to do something valuable, they would put a cease and desist order on that one company.
Oh man,
that PRO dash company.
That would be wrong.
Their magazines are the exact same price as the actual good Magpul ones that work. So buy the good Magpul ones that work. And I'm not going to disparage them, but I'm going to tell you guys, if you buy one of these PRO dash something magazines, and then your gun stops working, it's not your gun. And I'm also going to tell you that as time ticks away, as the days flitter away on the calendar, these are going to get harder and harder to find. So either Brownells is going to be out of them, and then you're going to go to that competitor, and they're going to want you to give them $99. I remember the dark days of the Obama when there were people selling PMags for $99. Now I never.
Now we know that they were those kind of people.
That they were rapists. That they were prison rapists. So it's magazine mania time, and I am going to give you guys a quick. If you guys watched the Patriot video or Patriot Fire Team video series, if you're a grad program member and you watch the series, and you remember when we did the video about the AR saw, about the automatic rifleman, and I recommend, I showed you all the different magazines that are available, right? The Magpul ones and the Surefire ones and so on and so forth, and the Schmeiser. The Schmeiser 60 round magazines that look like a polymer version of the Surefire one. And I said, in all honesty, I said, look, when we filmed the video, I said, I've owned these for about a year. I don't have that much. I have way more experience with these other magazines than I do with this one, but so far so good. This is what Schmeiser did. They made an improvement. I'm not sure how many improvements, but they have a Gen 2 version that has an orange follower. We, in our classes here, when we do the PFT live leadership, we've been running the Go Fast gun with those mags, and I've yet to have a stoppage or a failure with those mags. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, and what I did when I first got them, I deliberately loaded them all the way, 60 rounds, put them on a shelf, and left them there. And then I pulled them off the shelf and ripped them through. So if you guys are looking, if you see those, and some people are running sales on them. I know a lot of you guys out there, you're like, I get the Brownells newsletter, and I get the classic newsletter and the PSA newsletter and the Primary Arms newsletter, and I get them all, right? And right now, those companies, as I speak the words into this mic today, I don't know what it's going to be like in 2 or 3 months, but today, the companies, those guys are running competition sales against each other on those ATI Schmeiser mags, right? Full confession, I just bought 2 more. I didn't need them, but they were on sale, so I bought 2 more because they work, and I'm actually impressed by them now. I am. I was kind of like, this seems like a great idea. I hope it works. Well, it did. It does work. So if you've got one of those Go Fast guns and you're looking to defeat it, pay attention. This is not going to last forever. This country it's winter. Both parties are in winter quarters right now. If you don't know what that means, read a history book. All right, let's move on. Duracoat. Why? Because life is too short
To have an ugly gun
to
or
have an
magazine.
ugly gun or an ugly magazine or an ugly anything. Biatches. Oh, man. If you, and of course, sign up for Brownhill's newsletter. Goes without saying. Sign up for that. Yeah, life is too short to have an ugly gun, beginning and end of sentence. Just don't do it. If you want to get creative, we've got a lot of you guys in my audience are way more creative than me. Don Gregg, Christopher Umana. I feel like a jerk because I'm not remembering everybody who got into the sexy can contest. We had some really good entries. We had so many good entries into the sexy can contest. It was hard. It was really difficult to pick winners. We actually had to have everyone in the family pick their top 3, and then we pooled those together and we came up with the winners. So you guys are creative. You're smart. You've got that gene in you. Go to Duracoat Firearm Finishes, and you say, I'm not that creative. Okay, great. Get one flat color. Strip your gun. Do it in one color, and now you'll have a gun that's not rusty or crappy or, has only half the bluing left on it. That shotgun that's right there, Jared, that you can't see?
Yeah.
The one with the Mossberg one with the breacher barrel?
Yeah.
I did that one in slightly darker black, and it's a sexy beast. It's just one color. It's slightly darker black, but it's a sexy beast, right? So, check those guys out. Good people, good family up there in Wisconsin. And if you ever wanted to visit up there, go to the hotel and they'll give you a free beer.
Free burr.
No, seriously.
I'm gonna pretend that
This is when they're like, all right, Paul, last week you said stop at Brownells and they'll give you a free cup of coffee. Now you're saying to go to Wisconsin, check into the hotel, and they're going to give me a free beer. There's no way.
Oh, but they do.
Au contraire, mon frère. If you go to Chippewa Falls and you check into the hotel, that one, once you're checked in, they will offer you a free frosty beverage.
It's so cool.
It's true. It's true. That's free America. That's the way America should be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, can we be honest? That's the way America should be. You check into the hotel, you get your key, and they're like, hey, which beer do you want? And you're like,
all of them?
RTFO, man.
Yeah.
Let's RTFO. SWAT Fuel still has, let me check. SWAT Fuel. SWAT. Right now, they do have 9mm endurance formula in stock. And this is the good stuff. This is the good stuff. So if you want the good stuff, go to SWATfuel.com, put it in your cart, type in SOTG. You're going to get yourself a little bit of a discount. You're going to be a happy camper.
Boom.
And boom. There you go. All right. Okay, kids. It is time for a Student of the Gun Homeroom brought to you by
Crossbreed holsters.
Nope. I misspoke. Before we do that, it's Wednesday. We got to do the Wednesday info.
Oh, Zach or Alex.
Wednesday info dump.
Yeah, one of those two has something to say to you.
ShopSOTG.com is the perfect place to go if you are a student of the gun. Whether you want to expand your brain, increase your marksmanship, or help keep your family safe. All that, plus the Pimp Hand brands that you love. ShopSOTG.com has almost anything that an American patriot would want. Education, enlightenment, and entertainment, and we're open 24/7. Check out ShopSOTG.com today and see for yourself.
All right. That happened. ShopSOTG.com. And I have it on good authority that the store will be restocked with signed books very, very, very soon. You know what I had to do before I came down here, Zach? This is the great thing about living in free America, quiet America, Mayberry, is the 2 packages that are going out for FedEx, I put them on the stool, and I set them in the garage so that the FedEx guy could just pick them up. So,
which, by the way, if you're listening to this live, we currently have a Valentine's Day sale going on right now on ShopSOTG.com.
Ooh, that's this Sunday.
We got books on sale, and you get a free patch with orders over $15. So, but if you're listening to this after it's been released on Wednesday, well, you should have been paying more attention.
Yeah. PSA for the men in the audience. Sunday is Valentine's Day, so you've got 2 days if you're listening live.
Yeah, if you don't have plans yet, you better go find a cave to hide in.
Yeah.
Hey, Paul Bridges on Facebook says, what mag deal was Paul talking about?
American Tactical?
The ATI Schmeiser. You mean like the guys that made the submachine guns?
Yep. And they're not even sponsoring Student Gun. Shame on them. They should be, but they're not. We just like their product. It works really well. So we like to send good products or good product information to you guys.
Yep.
Maybe we should do a giveaway with them. That would actually be
I just answered that question, but it doesn't show me answering it. But anyway, I said the words. So there you go. All right, let's talk about moving on to our Student of the Gun homeroom, which is brought to you by crossbreedholsters.com. Speaking of magazines, what the Farfignugan is up with the Punisher locating 20-round magazines and then purposefully using them in his AR?
Well, because that's
you guys
high
notice
capacity. Didn't you know that? That's
Yeah,
double. That's double what it should be.
Oh, what it should be. That's right.
Like, man.
He was going all retro. I was like, come on, man. There's no way that Frank Castle, like, you know what I need? I need reduced capacity magazines.
Well, he is so good at what he's doing. It just
and especially when he's stroking the trigger full auto in the hallway. He's like, brah, 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 brah. I'm like, that's a big 20 round. That's like 80 rounds from a 20 round magazine. Oh, but then he changed it, and then he changed it and shot another 40 rounds. So whatever. All right. Student of the Gun homeroom brought to you by Crossbreed Holsters. Be dangerous on demand. Carry your friggin' gun. Okay. Unlike people who are on television, who constantly take their guns off and stick them in desk drawers, or who shove them down the back of their pants. And then this is the other thing, Jared. So the one dude, Curtis, he's constantly screwing with it because he's got it shoved down the back of his pants, right? So every other scene shows him reaching back and readjusting it. You know what, Kurt? Professional military veteran.
If you just got a Crossbreed holster, you'd be good to go.
If you had a good holster, you just put it in there and leave it alone, man. Don't touch it anymore.
So what is this Maryland deputy?
Okay, the Maryland deputy is one that got attacked by the lunatic
with the
on
stick?
Saturday morning with a stick. Yeah. So there's two big lessons learned for concealed carriers or gun carriers.
Did we talk about this on public?
No, we talked about it on the bonus hour.
Okay, so we need a link to the story.
On Friday.
I will.
On Friday, we talked about this. We went into great detail, and I realized we hadn't talked about this in public yet. Okay, the Maryland story. So a sheriff's deputy gets dispatched to 911 calls about traffic collisions. This car ran into 2 or 3 other cars, and a bunch of people called in. They're like, hey, this guy just ran into me, and then he ran into another car. And so this deputy, it's Saturday morning. So the deputy's like, oh, geez, it's Saturday morning. I already got a drunk, right? I can tell you as a patrolman, you're already like, oh. So they send him to a traffic. He's on his way to a traffic accident, to a collision, to whatever you want to call it, right? He gets out. This guy's going berserko, right? The guy who caused the collisions, big, tall guy, he's going berserko. So the officer's like, he says, hey, show me your hands. Stop. Come here. I need to talk to you. And the guy's, or whatever. So he pulls out his taser. I said, stop. Zoop, shoots the taser. The guy's like, I don't care. And then he reaches down and he grabs this board stick, big 6-foot blunt object, 4-foot blunt object, right? Made of wood. And he's charging at the deputy. And he's like, And so the deputy's backing up saying, stop, 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 you know, and he throws up his left arm in defense, and the guy, pow, smashes him with the thing, and it breaks over him. So imagine you're just standing there and some dude picks up a 4-foot board and breaks it over you. Oh, that's not that big of a deal. He should have used some, I know, jujitsu, and he should have put a scorpion lock on him. And okay, guys, and here in the really real world, when someone, and here's the crazy thing, when the guy grabs he's already deployed his taser, didn't work, drops that, pulls out his gun, the guy picks up the big stick, and he's like, and he stop. The guy charges into a drawn gun. Clue number 1. Any person who will charge into the muzzle of a gun is a dangerous, deadly threat. Well, what do you mean, Paul? What do I mean? Would you do that? No, of course I wouldn't do that. Why wouldn't you do that? Because if someone pointing a gun at you, you could die. So you got to like move and scoot and get cover or whatever. Someone who's willing to charge into the barrel of a gun is intent on killing you. Okay? They're a deadly threat. So this guy, the cop's like, stops, and he's backing up, and it's just pathetic to watch. He's backing up, and the guy, bam, busts the thing over, and after he busts it, after he breaks the stick on or whatever, the board, I don't know what it was, after he breaks it on the officer, he swings at him again, and that's when the officer finally, after showing excessive restraint, with one hand is like, pop, 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 and the guy absorbs. Now, depending on the count, I watched the video, and the official report was the officer fired 12 rounds. And then people are saying that the guy soaked up 12 rounds.
I watched it in slow motion, and they were pretty much here-ish.
Yeah. Do we know that the first shot went directly into him, or did, like, and this is when people say, there's no way you could miss at that distance, Paul. Okay. Sure. But the fact is, he soaked up several bullets, right? Several bullets, whether it was 12 or 8 or 6 or whatever. It was more than a half dozen, right? In various parts basically from his shoulders to his waistline. He obviously got some low, because when he's laying on the ground, Jared, did you see when the guy finally falls over on the ground, you see blood on his pants?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm assuming if he got shot in the shoulder, that 3 seconds later, there wasn't blood down in his pants.
Yeah. I mean, it looked like,
you don't bleed that fast.
When I watched in slow motion, it looked like what had happened is there was like waistline, kind of like bottom of the stomach, and it kind of dripped down in there. Yeah.
So basically from his shoulders down to his groin, bullets impacted. And you say, what's your point, Paul? What's my point is this guy like kept coming forward. He didn't fall back. You mean the bullets didn't make him fall backwards?
Yeah.
No.
As we talk about in the Armed Living DVD, if you don't have that, you can go to armedlivingdvd.com. There's a 40% off sale going on right now for you. But we talk about, in depth, we talk about a lot of stuff that's in regards to concealed carry and what to do before, during, and after an altercation. Before and during are talked about kind of often by people. Yeah. After is talked about it's not often enough, is it talked about. Yeah. So that's the biggest takeaway in there, at least for me, when I watched the video. It was the biggest takeaway for me. But we go in depth on the 3 types of criminals, and so I'm trying to think, like, remember this off the top of my head. So type 1, I think, is stopping at verbal retaliation.
No, I'll get, all right. There's 3. All right. When he says criminals, what he means is attackers.
Attackers.
Like when you say criminal, like a shoplifter, a rapist, a murderer. No, 3 types of attackers that you're going to encounter, and the first 2 are psychological stops, and the third one is a physiological. All right. So type 1 will stop as soon as they realize, as soon as you present a threat. Type 1, hey man, give me your money. You pull out a gun, you'll stop. He's like, oh, this just changed. This isn't supposed to happen. And I run away. They're not going to stand there and let you arrest them. They're going to run away, right? They're like, oh crap, I'm going to go somewhere else. Okay, so that's type 1. That is but that was a psychological. That guy stopped himself. He made the psychological decision. Oh, I just encountered a bad guy or a good guy with a gun, and I'm a bad guy. Crap. Number 2 will stop when they receive any kind of physical damage, but the physical damage is not necessarily life-threatening. You fire a gun and it zips through their shoulder. Are they going to die? No. But now they're hurt. And that's when they realize, oh, I'm injured. Me getting hurt wasn't part of this robbery equation. Now I'm going to stop. That was psychological. They made the decision to stop attacking you because they received an injury. A type 3 is physiological. They will not stop attacking you until they sustain enough physiological damage that their body can no longer continue. Their brain's like, attack, 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 attack. And the body says, sorry, there's no more oxygenated blood. You guys understand there are 2 ways to stop an animal from continuing to attack you. Number 1, you destroy the central nervous system. Physiologically, not psychologically, physiologically. If the central nervous system is interrupted, can't send signals. All right, you got a brain in your noggin, right up here, and you're great. You got the brain. You have this thing called the brain stem, which attaches the brain to the spinal column. Spinal column runs down the center of your body, deep in your body. Relatively small target, but if that's interrupted, if there's a break in that, the brain can't send signals to the muscles can no longer respond, the animal dies. The animal stops attacking you, right? That's one way. The other way is exsanguination. That is when the heart can no longer pump oxygenated blood to the muscles in the brain. There's a hole in the pneumatic system or a hydraulic system, not pneumatic, hydraulic. So when the hydraulic system gets a hole in it and it gets enough holes or a big hole and the fluid can't pump, all right? But the problem with exsanguination is it takes a long time because right now, you and I, we have oxygenated blood in our brains and we can send signals to our muscles to make our body move. And, if you got a hole in that, it doesn't shut you down immediately. Think about it. Like if you're driving your car, you're driving, and you're going 70 miles an hour and one of your hydraulic hoses, the hose of the water cooler breaks, springs a leak. Does the car stop? Boom. Well, no, duh. I'm going 70 miles an hour just because a hose broke. The car's not going to stop. It's going to keep going for a while. Now, eventually it's going to stop and it's not going to move anymore. That's how human attackers are. You can put holes in them and the fluid starts leaking out and eventually they will stop. But how much damage are they going to do in the meantime? If this guy the deputy's actually pretty lucky that the dude didn't have a bladed weapon. If this dude would have had a bladed weapon, the deputy would have probably been effed up pretty bad because he kept going. While the guy's backpedaling, he kept going.
I presume that my opinion on what the deputy did is that he had an insane amount of restraint. And I think that maybe if the guy had something that was sharp, he probably would have not waited so long.
Maybe.
But it's one of those things where your adrenaline dumps and then you just kind of do what you do based upon your training. And then afterwards you sit down and you're like, okay, why did I do that? What could I do better next time?
Yeah.
Assuming that you live, assuming that your training is good enough to keep you alive.
Jared, which direction do you get off the X?
Forward, left, right,
left
backwards,
or right?
Not
Train
backwards.
Jay Gibson, you're on the train tracks,
Yeah.
right?
I
You're
probably shouldn't joke because there are new people listening.
Yeah, don't joke.
Yeah.
You're on the train tracks, right? Train's coming. If you take 3 steps backwards, you're still going to get run over.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get run over 3 steps backwards, but you're still going to get run over.
Yep.
The only way to keep the train from running you over is to take a great big step to the right or a great big step to the left. If someone is charging at you and and they're going forward and you're going backward, this is how humans work. If you look at your legs and how your knees bend, humans go faster forward than they do backwards. Oh, I knew this one guy who could run backwards. Stop. Humans go look at the knees and the joints. They go faster forward than they do backward. If someone's coming at you and you backpedal straight, it's like being on a train tracks. The train's coming and you're backing up, you still won't get run over. But if you go hard left or hard right, the train will miss you, right? And that is a learning point. You should be practicing this, but whatever. All right, so the Maryland one. 3 takeaways. Number 1, bullets don't stop bad people immediately. It's not an invisible sledgehammer, okay? Handguns are notoriously crappy fight stoppers. Bad people, takeaway number 2, there are lots of different kinds of bad people in the world. There's a type 1, a type 2, a type 3. I came up with this like 8 years ago or 10 or whatever, long time ago. You're not going to know. You won't know until the fight ends. Not when it begins, when it ends. The good news is the majority of your attackers, when you show resistance, they'll stop. But I said majority, I didn't say all. You cannot bet your life on most of the time. You need to be mentally prepared, and that's what we talk about in the DVD, in the Armed Living DVD, is when you leave your house, you need to be mentally prepared. If someone attacks me, I have to do whatever it takes to make them stop attacking me. Now, that could be yelling stop and pointing a gun, okay? It could be yelling stop, pointing a gun, firing a shot. They get hit, and they immediately recoil, okay? Or you could pull a gun, yell stop, shoot them. They keep coming, keep shooting, keep stabbing. You're like, whoa, they're not supposed to do that. I watched a movie. And they don't do that in movies. No, but in the really real world, they do that. Number 3, okay, a person, and this is a big one. If you present a firearm, if you're justified in whipping that thing out, right? You whip it out, you'll stop, you point it at them, and they charge at you. Their intent is to kill you. Oh, no, you don't know that, Paul. Maybe they just want to talk and have some coffee. No, if you point a gun at someone and they charge into the barrel of the gun, their intent is to do deadly force harm to you. And if you don't do something, they're going to club you over the head, take your gun, and execute you with it in the parking lot. That is the really real world in which we live. Okay, put those coins in your pocket and move on. Number 2, douchebag, YouTube douchebag, wannabe influencer moron in Tennessee decides, wouldn't it be funny if I had you, my pal, videotape me as I fake rob people in a public parking lot? This is when you say, what words did you just say, Paul? There is no adult human stupid enough to have their buddy videotape or film or whatever, record while they jump out from behind a car with a butcher knife and threaten a stranger in a parking lot. Apparently there are. This happened in Nashville, Tennessee. A wannabe YouTube influencer who's 20 years old. And they're like, that's just a kid. No, a 20-year-old is an adult human. When I was 20 years old, I was guarding nuclear weapons in the United States Marine Corps. I wasn't a child. All right? 20-year-olds can vote for the president of the United States. They can sign contracts.
I mean, you were allegedly guarding nuclear weapons.
No, I was. I was guarding. It's not a secret. Anyway, so don't say, oh, a 20-year-old's just a kid. They don't know what they're doing. No, wrong. At some point in time, we need to hold adult humans responsible for their behavior.
Well, yeah, but not till they're like 35, 40, maybe 50. At what point do we just decide on an age? I think that we should let them decide when we need to hold them accountable.
Yeah. Well,
It's wrong to make decisions for them.
Mm-hmm. Society can't make that decision. Here's the deal. I don't care if you're 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 87, anywhere in between. If I'm walking to my car and you jump out with a butcher knife and yell, stick 'em up and shove it in my face, you're going to receive bullets. That's what's going to happen. I'm not going to read you a chapter of The Purpose-Driven Life. We're not going to dialogue. A knife is a deadly force instrument. If you assault me, if you jump out with a knife and yell, ah, I'm going to whip out a gun and I'm going to shoot you until you stop doing that, which is exactly what happened. This imbecile pulled a knife on a stranger in a parking lot while his buddies were filming it because it was going to be a really funny YouTube prank. Ha, 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 ha. And apparently they're like, oh, he was just kidding. It was just a joke. What? Oh, this poor kid is dead now. That's like if somebody jumps off of a building, you're like, why did gravity kill him? What's wrong with gravity? He was just joking. It's like making an arsenic cocktail and wondering why you died. Okay, you don't attack strangers in a parking lot and say, I was just kidding.
Says you.
You're just mean. You're just mean. Jared, back in Biloxi, I did a video called Killing the Clown or Shooting the Clown.
Yeah.
Remember we talked about these people that are staging fake attacks? These teachers, the reason I did that video is because a couple of teachers were going to prove a point by running in with ski masks on into the school, into a board meeting or something, and like, everyone get on the floor. And they're like, see, we just showed you. Like, don't run into a board meeting where I'm sitting, or somebody in Tennessee is sitting, or in Texas is sitting, or in Wyoming. If you ran into a board meeting in Wyoming, you'd be like a Swiss cheese character.
You'd be like,
can't be Jay Gibson. I'd be in the back like, this is gonna be loud. It's gonna be loud. Running into a tactical response alumni meeting and saying, stick them up. Everyone get on the floor.
mm-hmm.
Don't do that. So they're like, well, don't you feel bad for the, I feel bad that the shooter, the citizen, had to be put through this nonsense. I don't feel bad for the YouTube douchebag. He's 20 years old. He made a stupid decision. Oh, come on, Paul. Don't be heartless. That's like standing in the middle of a highway and I'm supposed to feel bad because you got ran over by a truck. Well, the truck shouldn't have run him over just because he was standing in the middle of the road. It's the same thing. So, I think there's actually more valuable takeaways from the Maryland thing. The other one is if you're 20 and you want to be a YouTube influencer by setting up fake robberies or fake assaults, you should just go play in the highway. You should just go play in traffic instead. And you know who I blame for that, Jared? The Brits.
Oh, that's true.
Because
that's popular over there.
Yeah, over in England, where the people are a bunch of disarmed slaves, they do this crap all the time. They put on crazy zombie clown masks and jump out from behind trees with machetes and scream at people and chase them. There's one where the guy's actually chasing them with the machete and screaming, and they're like, ah, running around falling. Ah, oh, isn't that funny? Ha, 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 ha. And we've been saying for years, yeah, that's funny to do where the citizens are a bunch of disarmed tax slaves. Don't come to America and do that. And it'd be one thing if you did it in New York where they're disarmed tax slaves, but holy crap, they're doing it in Tennessee. This 20-year-old YouTuber didn't get the memorandum that, hey, people in Tennessee carry guns. So don't do that.
Hmm.
I don't know. All right, guys. Let's go to the main story today. CZ. You mean the guys that make the P10 Charlie? Jared, did you know you can get night vision accurate sights for the CZ P10 Charlie, P10C?
Let me go to studentofthegun.com/sites.
Yeah. You can.
Check this out.
You can get accurate sights for your CZ P10 Charlie, if that's your bag, man. Remember a couple of years ago?
Oh, nice. Look at that. We got, Glock, like pretty much all Glocks.
Yep.
Smith & Wesson Shield, CZ USA P10C.
P10C. I think it was a 2019 SHOT Show, Jared, that we went to, that the CZ booth was packed. Remember that? Because it was right across the aisle from Aguila. Remember
Yep.
And I said, are they giving away free beer at the CZ booth? What is going on?
Mm-hmm.
Because the booth was packed. It was wall to wall. And they're like, oh man, every Americans all of a sudden are like crazy cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs over CZs. And I'm like, all right, rock on. Well, apparently they made enough money selling P10 Charlies and Scorpions that they just bought Colt. We got a story here from Reuters.
Reuters.
From Reuters.
We're going to go to Reuters.
From Reuters at Reuters.com. It says it's a 3-minute read. Can you handle that?
I don't know, man. It says official.
February 11th.
Yep. Czech gunmaker CCG buys Colt in cash and stock deal.
Story, Dateline, Prague, Czech Republic.
Yep. CCG said on Thursday it would acquire Group Colt Holding Company for $220 million, and CCG shares as the Czech gunmaker expands in the larger U.S. market. CCG, whose firearms include CZ, Dan Wesson, and Bruno rifles.
Bruno.
Yeah,
Bruno. BRNO. Bruno.
They're actively already in the United States and building a factory in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Cool.
The Czech group said it would acquire 100% in Colt Holding, the parent of Colt's manufacturing company and a Canadian subsidiary, for the cash consideration and 1.099 million pieces of flare. No, I'm just kidding. Newly issued CZG stock.
Yeah. So there was actually a correction in this. It said that in paragraph 4 it's 50 million, or 500 million, not 600 million, whatever. So in paragraph 4.
Oh yeah, they fixed it.
Yep.
The combined group would have revenue of more than 500 million, CZG said. CZG shares closed up at 360 crown on Thursday, valuing the stock portion of the deal at around 395.5 million crowns, which is $18.65 million.
So in the Czech Republic, they trade in crowns.
I like crowns.
That's cool.
I'll take a crown.
That's cool.
There was also a potential consideration of another 1.099 million shares if EBITDA targets were met in 2021 to 2023. So it's essentially a schedule. If it goes well, then guess what? They're going to get more.
Yay!
Which is smart. It's expected the deal for Colt, a brand with 175-year history, which emerged from bankruptcy in 2016, to close in the second quarter. So Q2 of 2021. I'll tell you what, man. I think that CZG, you've got your work cut out for you, but I think that based upon your prior performance that you can do it.
Yeah, I actually think so too.
Yeah.
What is a shame, I like how they said emerged from bankruptcy in 2016. From which bankruptcy?
Yeah.
Okay, Colt and Colt attorneys are legendary for bankruptcy restructuring. They've been bankruptcy restructuring that company for 2 decades at least. People are like, oh man, this is crap. I know there's like
sounds like a strategy.
There's 3 old guys in the audience. There's only 3 because no one under age 60 gives a fat rat's rump about COLT. So there's 3 guys in the audience right now. They're like, hey man, this is crap. I don't want some foreign company owning Colt, a good American firearms company. Colt has turned making bad decisions into an art form. Okay. Now you say, why are Colt guns bad? No, Colt guns are great. If you like Colt rifles, really well built rifles, Colt firearms. Well, they had some ups and downs with the different revolvers and so forth. And so, okay, there was a time not very long ago when the Italian importers, ASM Army San Marco, was making a better 1873 single action army than Colt was. Okay, this is a fact. And you say, how does that happen? Greed and crappy management, which are actually peas and carrots. You had crappy management. You had Colt became like a lot of gun makers. Colt said, we're too big to fail. We have the Army contract for the M4. Therefore, we cannot fail. We can't. We got a $1 billion contract from the U.S. Army to build M4s. First, they made M16s, M16A2s, then M4s. Like, hey, we're it. If you don't like it, get bent. You don't like it, go buy somebody else's stuff, right? Colt basically gave up on, forgot about, didn't give two fat rats rear ends about the civilian gun market for probably 20 years. Now, they acted like they did. In magazine articles or magazine ads, they're like, oh, yeah, we want to sell you citizens guns. We want to sell you guns, too. You're like, okay, well, where can I go to get one? You mean like a store? Like a store to buy one? Yeah, like what stores can I go to buy one? Oh, I don't know. Just look around, man. Jared, you remember what Mike told me 10 years ago about Colt? Mike at the gun shop in Biloxi, at Cook's in Biloxi.
Maybe.
Because I was reviewing Colt guns. I reviewed a couple rifles and pistols and so forth, right?
Right.
We had a good relationship for Colt. They actually sponsored us for a short amount of time on the show.
Oh, but, is that why they went? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's why they went bankrupt, because they sponsored us for a year. No. And I said to Mike, I said, we were talking about the Colt guns, and he said, here's the deal. Here's reality. He said, I've been in this business 25 years. He said, the people who walk through that door, come up to this counter and say, hey, what do you have from Colt? Are zero. He said, the only time anybody ever comes in here looking specifically for a Colt product, he said, is an old guy north of 60 who's looking for a good deal on a Colt 1911. That's it. He said, no 30-year-old man walks through that door, comes to this counter and says, what do you have from Colt in stock? None. Zero. Nada. He said, he went to the, wasn't SHOT, it was the other one. It was one of the big distributors. Had a show in Texas every year, and they invite all the FFL guys in and wine them and dine them and show them all the new products and everything. He said, I met the guy from Colt there. And I said, oh, that's nice you have a booth. He said, you guys don't do business with gun dealers. It's like, oh, yeah, we are. We do. No, man. Here, take my card. Give me your card. I'll set you up. He said, I returned from the show, called that guy, left a message. Didn't get back to me. Called him again, left a message, didn't get back to me. Stopped talking to him, never heard from him again. Colt's customer service for 30 years has been their dealer service for 30 years has been okay. Colt has been a legend, and that's what they've existed on their legend. Whereas CZ said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to sell Americans guns. We're going to buy ads. We're going to be there. We're going to sell them guns. We're going to shove the guns in their faces and say, buy this. We're going to make guns that Americans want. Jared, you remember when we went to to SHOT Show a couple of years ago, and the big news from Colt was they were reintroducing the Series 70 Gold Cup.
Oh yeah, I remember that. The CZ had a rise in 10% rise in revenue last year in 2020, and it says it was fueled largely by sales growth in the U.S. market. So they closed out record revenue of 5 billion crowns, which I'm not sure. Let's see. How
a lot of
many
crowns, man.
dollars is 5 billion crowns?
Zach, how far in are we?
An hour and 6 minutes.
Okay.
601,680,500 dollars.
So you're like, man, you're kind of a jerk for bagging on Colt. This is the reality of the situation. Colt, Remington, Smith & Wesson did it. They're just about to do it again. These companies, they get super big. They have a super genius board of directors, people who are way smarter than all these dumb gun-buying peasant morons. They get in rooms together, and they engage in these groups and mutual masturbation. And they're like, we're the best. We're the smartest. Those people are all stupid. We're going to last forever. Woo! 1,000-year Reich. Yep. Remington did it. Remington screwed up the freaking guns, the civilian gun sales market. Colt has been, like I said, they've turned making bad decisions into an art form for 3 decades. And actually, it was Wiley Clapp. I think it was Wiley who said, maybe it wasn't Wiley. Maybe it was Dick Williams. I can't remember. It was one of my mentors. I was at an event in Arizona probably 5 years ago. This is when Colt filed bankruptcy again, right? And Jim Shepard reported on this in the Outdoor Wire, and he said, we all want Colt to survive, but we don't need Colt to survive. Because everything that Colt makes, we can get in this from someone else in the same quality. You say Colts are high quality rifles, Paul. Yeah, they are. You know what else is high quality rifles? Daniel Defense. I can get Daniel Defense rifles. I can't get Colt rifles. Bravo Company, BCM rifles, high quality rifles that I can get. Can't get Colt rifles. 1911s. You can get high quality 1911s from a half a dozen different companies. High quality revolvers. You can get from 20, I don't know. But and it was probably 5 or 6 years ago, Jared, that we were kind of mind melding, and that's what they said. We all of us, maybe it was Tom Gresham who said it. I can't remember. But he said we all want Colt to survive because we have this special place in our heart for it as Americans. Mm-hmm. He said, but the industry and we don't need them to survive. If they go away, we're just going to drive on and just keep doing what we've been doing. So, and that's the State of the Union. And I'm really glad that a company that has some drive. I tell you what, I am so impressed by the Czechs. I almost want to move to Prague. The Czech Republic is doing good things. The Czech Republic gave 2 middle fingers to the European Union. The Czech Republic, the president of Czech Republic, said, you know how you stop terrorists? How? Get guns and kill them. And the weak, spineless socialists in Europe, you can't say that. You can't tell the citizens to get guns and kill terrorists. That's mean. And he's like, no, this is how we stop Muslim terrorism. The citizens arm themselves, and when terrorists show up, you kill them. Problem solved. We're like, go Team Czech. CR, man. CZ for life. CZ4L. That hashtag CZ4L. All right, CZ for life, man. So congratulations to those guys. I hope that they take, a basically what was a shell of American legacy company and rejuvenate it, because they have the machines. They have the capability. Part of the problem, though, is, and we're not supposed to talk about this, is their union problems up there. But whatever. You know, it'd be great if they took that and moved and that factory and the people who were skilled gunsmiths and put them in Arkansas and let them turn out good guns. That would be awesome.
Yeah, it's almost like they thought that was a good idea.
I know, it's crazy. All right, kids, that's it for today. Tomorrow, I love you. Tomorrow, Thursday, we're going to talk about we're going to go in detail about Gina Carano. What did she actually say? Did she deserve to be censored? Should she be put in jail? Are there going to be special camps for people who tweet things that the left finds offensive? I don't know. And I'm not sure what else we're going to talk about tomorrow. I'm sure that there's going to be more than one subject. A Kumo aide came out and admitted that they hid the nursing home data so the feds wouldn't find out. Remember when Kumo forced all these old, frail, sickly people into nursing homes, and then they had the COVID went through like a black plague and killed a bunch of them? Remember that? I do. But, well, he's a Democrat. And Democrats are allowed to kill your grandparents. Remember that. Democrats are allowed to kill your babies and your grandparents, and you're not allowed to question them. So keep that in mind. And we're going to talk about whatever else we want to talk about tomorrow. If you'd like to join us for tomorrow's bonus hour, and you should, how can they do that, Jared?
Go to getsotg.com, follow the directions, and you can get a trial of the grad program for $1.
That's right.
It's a steep investment. I'm sorry.
Get SOTG.com. All right, freaks and freakettes, remember, you are a beginner once.
You're a student for life.
We appreciate your reviews. If you haven't left a review or updated yours recently, head on over to Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast player to voice your opinion. Don't forget to join us at the Student Lounge, a place for like-minded individuals to learn, connect, and support each other. No chicanery will be tolerated. Remember to check studentofthegun.com daily for new, free content and giveaways. Watch, listen, read, shop, and connect at studentofthegun.com. Are you a social butterfly? Connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for new content each and every day at Student of the Gun. Watch Student of the Gun TV and videos from our trusted partners on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Chromecast, and even AirPlay. Go to studentofthegun.com for direct links, and remember, you're a beginner once, a student for life.